Well, it is Tuesday. It's this weird thing that I have to confess to, that I could tell you faster where the moon is and what astrological sign we are in than I can tell you the day and the date. So there's been this flip of every day in the Mindfully You Facebook group. I post a little astro insight, a reflection on the energies of the skies above and how they inform our daily unfolding. And you may resonate with something that's a few days before, and I don't publish them way ahead of time. It's at the moment. The reason why I post them at 8:08 is there's a personal significance to that number, but it's that reminder of the cycle of things and how we flow through things. So it's been going on I've been doing it in my personal life even before this year of being virtual. And so it's just become part of how I orient. So as I record this, we're coming off of the first quarter moon. That is the confusing part. Fortunately, it won't be as confusing soon. But in a cycle that's really asking us to look at how we can adapt and what are the untold stories that are coming to the surface that are asking us to really speak the truth within ourselves. And as that first quarter, kind of the crisis, what really needs to be resolved has surfaced. And in that energy, we're in this initiatory energy of water, of nourishment, of mother, of family, of our property, of our real estate, of our house and home. And so we might feel a little crabby. And then the other exciting thing, as I disappear and come back, is that we are also in the initiatory energy of fire and leading from courage, leading from this place of realizing that to be courageous, we have to have a little fear. To be courageous, we are going to require a little fear and anger. Let's put it. So that anger can be that energy that we want to fight, right? Courage is usually associated more with anger, and curiosity is more with fear. So in that, and then I'll share, compassion is more associated with shame or despair. And that's actually from yoga, Shaivism to be specific, the malas that veil our truth. So being truthful with ourselves requires courage. And as we're initiating, is this radical acceptance of who we are, to be the hero of our own spark, of our own light, to feel a freshness, a rebirthing, a regeneration of our energy. So let's do it, okay? If we're gonna nourish the courage, we're gonna be at the wall. You can see I've moved things around. I'm gonna run into some obstacles doing the wall, but I still wanna be at the wall. In that nourishing, I have irritated the bursa in my greater trochanter of my left hip, so I cannot externally rotate, which, you know what's interesting? Fire in the system of Anusara, and even just fire in anything, fire in yoga is that reminder of transformation, but faith and trust and playfulness and joy, the energy of the heart. So we all grew up with the story that the courage resides in our heart. So actually, we usually have to be more courageous in backing off. So we're gonna be at the wall and we're gonna feel more of this yielding to that fire and to that energy of leadership versus aggressively engaging. Okay, so it's going to be more of a yielding fire because leaders yield to their tribe, right? To their people. So just know that. All right, so we're going to start actually legs up the wall. So we're going to start in a very grounded way. When we start legs up the wall, we're not going to be there for a super long time, but we're going to ignite our core. Once we ignite our core, we'll do some simple hip openers. Then we will move through just a simple easeful flow with the wall. Please have your mat long ways. And then we will go from there. We're gonna do some inversions, but nothing too crazy. So as always, you are in charge of you. And as you take charge of yourself, the choices you make matter. They matter so much. And they have a ripple effect. So if you wanted to choose to, whatever it is you're choosing. Hey, Diane, whatever you're choosing, whatever you're deciding to show up, you know, I don't want to say you made your bed, you sleep in it too, but being mindful is being conscious of what we choose to engage with. It's not just about being passive. So we are going to start legs up the wall. We are going to nourish the courage of our hearts, so that we can initiate and really be the hero of our own story. And we get to tell the story. You are the main character in the story of your life. So think of the choices other people in your life have made, the family, your father, your mother, your siblings, if you have them, your children, your peers, your coworkers, all those choices impact you. And so we might do things twice today, because there's that energy too. So legs up the wall, a very interesting way to begin, but we are going to begin that way. We are going to be at the wall, just so you know, and I think everybody who's done yoga with me knows not to think that the wall makes it easy. It gives us a lot of feedback. So feedback is awesome, because then we know how our choices nurture us, and we can be a little more courageous. If you want to have a blanket, even blocks, like I said, greater trochanter bursitis right here. But it's getting better. And my husband laughed at me because I had to figure some things out. He goes, I think it's interesting that you can diagnose yourself. And my response was, I think it's interesting that I've spent thousands of dollars to understand how the body works. I am not a doctor. I am not a mental health professional, or maybe I am. When you start legs up the wall, you're gonna feel blood flow to the head. And so obviously our head leads us, right? It's upright, it's at the top of ourselves. So feel this connection. Smooth out your eyebrows even. Roll your head from side to side. Feel the bony part of the skull and the soft part of the frontal lobe. Notice if your chin's pulling way in, or is your chin stretching way out. And lean back into this energy, because not only do we have the head here, but we have our ability to have a vision for ourselves. But our head takes guidance from the heart and our core and our gut. Big inhale in, and a big exhale out. Another breath in, and another breath out. Calling on the highest, that energy for yourself. Awakening to your strength, your vitality, and tuning into the passions that are calling you forward. You're going to inhale and just stretch your arms back behind your head. Then bend your knees. Once you bend your knees, if you put yourself on any kind of support, like I did, a little blanket, you're gonna move off of it. If you're far away from the wall, wiggle a little bit closer. Once you are there, your arms are gonna come by your side, and once they come by your sides, we're not gonna go into shoulder stand, but we're just gonna use the wall to wake up the core. So your arms are by your sides, you're gonna curl your tail up, your heels are pushing into the wall. Inhale, lifting, keep the belly engaged, and then exhale, vertebrae by vertebrae, all the way down. So we know inside our head is our brain. Right, we're gonna do this 5 times. Pulling into the belly, rolling up. And so what does our brain connect to? The brain stem, the nervous system. So we're just giving volume. Fire for B really draws into the energy of the core when we do it physiologically, right? So your heels are pushing into the wall, you're feeling your hamstrings wake up, wiggle your toes out, and you're just vertebrae by vertebrae, rising up and down. So 5, counting 5 for yourself. I am not good with numbers. Just like I'm losing touch with the days of the week. And I'm more into the season of the skies. Once you get to that 5th one, let the hips relax. Stretch the legs back up the wall. You're gonna bring your right ankle to your left thigh and then just slide the left knee in towards the chest enough so you can feel how much the wall is here. It feels like it's limiting you, but it's actually giving you structure and a container for feedback. Big inhale and a big exhale. And then slide the left leg up. You can't move super big, there's a reason for that. So again, I cannot externally rotate my leg, but you open your knee as much as you can, and then bend the right knee. It's gonna pull your legs into your chest more with no strain in the neck or the head. Relax the jaw. We still have the oxygenated blood flowing to our brain. And we feel the subtle waking up of the hips and the pelvis. And then you stretch the legs back up. Both legs go up, then we're gonna bring the soles of the feet together. I have to be mindful of my knees. Soles of the feet come together. Knees are gonna open up wide. If you can let your legs go and open, great. 5 breaths here and really starting to engage more of the core. Feel what's supporting you and that you're here just nourishing your vessel, your body, the home your soul and heart reside in. The family of you, your toes, your fingers, your arms, your legs, your hips, your shoulders. Your internal family system. That means the system of you that's on the inside. And then draw the knees together and just realizing that even by slowing down and breathing and feeling takes great courage. Once the knees come into the chest, we're going to roll over to one side and come up onto our hands and knees. You're going to figure out what side to roll to. Okay. Once you roll over, come up onto your hands and knees. You're going to move back into child's pose just so we can help with a new blood flow, okay? Because when we have our legs inverted, all the blood changes the way it flows because of gravity. Bring the head to the earth, breathe. And then inhale, gaze forward. What are you initiating? What are you igniting? Check into it now. What are you realigning with what's already come through? Inhale, come up onto your hands and knees, tuck the toes, and move back, downward dog. Get strong into the core, so hands are shoulder width apart, fingers are spread. I learned today that our hands hold the patterning of our brains. How cool is that? Big breath in. And a big breath out. Inhale the right leg up to the sky. Knees bent. We're going to do more core, okay? So you're going to draw the knee to the heart, pull into the belly, get a lot of lift, and then bend the left knee, lift through the right inner thigh. Make sure you're not dipping into that left side. So left leg straightens, right knee comes into the chest, lifting into that core, checking in with the head. Bend the left knee, right leg lifts. Pull into the belly, drawing in, pulsing and lifting. We're going to do 4. Draw in, pull into the core, and then pulse and lift. Here we are. We're going to bring the knee to the wrist. Knee to the wrist. I said it right this time. So we're in pigeon pose, but we're going to be a high volume pigeon. So tuck the back toes in. Bring your hands up to your hips. Draw in and just feel that shift of the head is now upright. It's above the heart. As the head is upright, hands to your hips. If the hands need to be on the earth or a block, go for it. Waist draws back. Sides of the body are long. Hands are going to interlace behind the head if you can. Elbows come forward. Belly draws back. Shoulders draw back. Lift the heart. Open the chest. 3 breaths here. And then exhale, hands come to the earth. Inhale the back knee up. So lift through the inner thigh, internally rotate the leg. Move it all the way back, downward dog. Not too bad, right? Nothing too crazy. It won't be too crazy. We're just getting the energy to reawaken. Inhale the left leg up. Knees bent, lift through the inner thigh. Draw the knee to the heart, so arms are going forward, belly's lifting. So strong. Right knee bends, left leg lifts. Draw in, and then extend. And again, feeling the pulse, going for 4, finding that strength. We're just still waking up, core lines of the body. Nourishing the ways that we can be brave. And come on, you guys, you've got 1 foot up off the floor. Your hands are holding you up. Don't undermine that ability. Oh, fantastic. This is exciting for me. You're going to draw in. So this is where we have to nourish the courage, right? It's big for me to be in pigeon pose right now with this greater trochanter. So I'm not going to ask, even though my mind is like, yeah, let's do it. That's not nourishing the courage, right? It's not nourishing the courageous. That's just getting caught up in ego, which when you have a lot of fire, ego is big. So you're going to maybe come up on hands to your hips. Remember, we're in a voluminous pigeon. Maybe your hands come up over your head. I really want to, but I can't. I'm just not going to. Draw into the core, lift through the chest, open the heart. 3 breaths here. And then lead with the heart, move the block out of the way. If you were using it, lift up, pull it back, downward dog. Inhale, come forward into a plank pose. Thighs lift, shoulders into the back, bend your elbows, and then rise back up. We're going to do this 5 times. Draw into the core, and I want you to notice where your head is. How much is it moving? Yeah, we're not yielding to fire anymore, right? Draw in, elbows bend, rise back up, okay? So in those 5 flows, you're aware of how much your head pulls forward, okay? The next time, you're gonna flow all the way down. Oh yeah,
back, circle the wrists. Draw the shoulders, clasp the hands behind you, shoulders into the back. Draw into the belly, heart stretches forward. Inhale, rise. Nothing too crazy, okay? Deep breath in, deep breath out. Free your hands, go wide on the mat, gecko arms. Fingertips, elbows lift, shoulders drawn to the back. Inhale, so we're nourishing the courage. We're not just like taking a leap. We're initiating the awareness of how we can take better care. That radical ownership of our divine spark. Melt all the way down. So cobra or upward dog. And realizing that we get to tell the story of our heart, which means you have to be honest, right? That's authenticity. Full breath in, full breath out. Move it all the way back, downward dog. Deep breath in and a deep breath out. And then you're going to meet yourself in the middle of the mat, okay? Walk your feet forward, walk your hands back. Bow forward, relax the neck and jaw. Feel the breath. Hands to the shins, inhale, find length through the spine. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, find length, open the heart. Exhale, bow. Inhale, find length. Exhale, bow. Feeling the rhythm of your breath and just what the body is telling you, right? How are you really respecting this vehicle that carries you? And then inhale, find length. Knees bend. Block or no blocks, up to you, but I am going to bring a block in between my knees and adjust the feet. You're going to pull the legs into the block, into the midline, so the low back is steady. Draw into the core, and then hands are going to come back behind the head. Shoulders are drawing back, lift up. This is pretty fierce, by the way. And as you're here, wrap the outer hips towards the tail. Open the heart, big full breath in. And then exhale, palms stay together. Left elbow, right knee. Shoulders drawn to the back, twisting. I know, I just tricked you with the wall, right? Inhale, opening up. We gotta get standing first. And then exhale, twist the other way. I'm gonna do this 3 times. Shoulders draw in, hips stay steady, heart's long, or spine's long. Nourishing that deeper fire. Inhale, opening up, and then exhale. Twist. Inhale, opening up, and exhale, twisting. Last time each side, it's not that bad. Inhale, opening up, and exhale, twist. Hopefully it feels really good. Inhale, opening up, and exhale, twist. Inhale, open all the way up, hands back behind the head, shoulders run. Open up, stand up. Once you're standing, waist draws back, shoulders draw back, open the heart. Stand tall, elbows, hopefully you can see them in the periphery vision. I want your hands to feel where that part of the skull, right, and the spine meet. Your hands are there, elbows are forward, shoulders are drawing back. If you have the block, keep it there. Hug in towards that center. Lifting in, opening up. And then inhale, head comes up, heart comes up, hands return to heart center. Finally, stand in that light. Stand in the reclaiming and realignment with your own intention. What's coming up to the surface that needs to be cared for? We're going to move to the wall, okay? As you move to the wall, if you have a block, great. If you don't, no big deal. I'm gonna need to move my mat over a little more. And as you move to the wall, stay connected to that core strength. We opened our shoulders, we opened our hips, we opened the heart, we woke up the core, we helped with the blood flow. So these are all the yielding to the fire, right? What's the flame in our heart that helps our heartbeat? Okay, I'm bringing my mat all the way up against the wall. You could do this whole flow not against the wall. I just wanted to offer it to you. Stand out against the wall, arms wide, thumbs up. Bring your tail back, depending on how much love you have in the rear end. And we all have more love right now. Feel your shoulders drawing back, head drawing back, arms are back. Woo, I shouldn't have taken my shirt off, it's cold. Isn't that funny? I should remember that summer. I'm hot, lean against a cold wall. Okay, so as you're there, your hands are wide. You gotta take care of yourself, you guys, so don't compromise your needs so your hands are wide, you're gonna walk your feet as wide as your wrists. I know, so traditional of me. You're gonna turn your right foot out. Now, you gotta make sure there's enough room for your right butt, which means your left butt won't be there. We're gonna keep the hands a little higher than our heart. You're gonna work really hard and drawing into the waistline, and then just bend. And inhale, straighten. So here we are, the arms are working. The wall is holding us accountable. 5 times here. And you're just pulsing, right? We're just nourishing the knee. Knees tracking straight ahead. And you're not letting the knee drop and lock, okay? This is so good for people who are newer to yoga. Knee bends, elbow to the thigh, hand to the hip. Now, what I want you to do is find that length, shoulders to the back. Your head can come back, but you're gonna bring your hand back. So don't let your knuckles get crushed. Pull into the belly, shoulders draw in, and then open up. 3 breaths here. You feel the fire of your legs, ground into it. Notice how much you pop forward. Pull in, draw in, open up. And then inhale, use this hand to help carry the head up. Warrior 2, breathing. And then inhale, straighten the leg. Turn the right foot in. Turn the left foot out. Now you may need to move your foot away from the wall. Right hip will no longer be touching the wall, right? It's more internally rotated. Check in with that foot. Draw into the core, arms are wide, shoulders are drawing in. The right shoulder won't be against the wall, but you want to draw the belly in, so you're trying to get the back body into the wall. 5 pulses, right? Lunging and lifting. Now, as you're going, this traction, yes, this is all for me, by the way, is really healing for the hip. And as you're there, you have the wall to hold you accountable and give you the structure. 5 times. This is where I have to be careful. Everybody says 90-degree angle, 90-degree angle. I want you to be more mindful of your hip. Elbow to the thigh. Sweet. So I'm like literally completely surprised that I'm able to move this much without pain. It's amazing when you take care of yourself, how much faster you heal. Hand comes back behind your head. Draw into that core. Get it to wake up. Shoulders roll into the back. Then lean back. You're still lunging. You're pushing into the feet. 5 breaths here. Left fingers are relaxed. Jaw soft. And then inhale. Come all the way up. Stay in warrior 2. Breathe with it. And then inhale, straighten the leg. Both feet turn in. I know your feet are talking, aren't they? Turn the right foot out. So left hip's off the wall. We're gonna give them bend to the knee. And if you have obstacles in the way, you may need to shimmy your way back. A bend to the knee. I know I'm gonna have to do a block on the other side, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it on this side. Left hip's not against the wall, right hip is. Whole right side body's against the wall. As you lift, we're not trying to push this back to cram up the back. So don't push your left trochanter back. Don't push the left inner thigh so far back that your butt is against the wall unless you are well endowed with a booty. Shoulders draw in, but chances are with your right leg there, it won't happen. Little micro bend in the knee. Just make sure you're not locked out so the calf is pushing in. We're just not dropped into that knee. Stretch the spine long. Woo, so happy to have a block right now. Draw in. Now you're gonna find that you shorten. I want you to lengthen out through the spine. Stretch the heart. So this whole line right here is horizontal. Draw into the belly. The head leans back. Arms gonna stretch by the ear. Your thumb is up against the wall, right? Your armpit, your left armpit is moving back. So the left shoulder's against the wall. Now, if you have more age than you may not be able to get the head all the way back. Breathing into it. And now we're gonna shift into half moon. So you're gonna lunge forward, hand can come to your hip, lean up against the wall, and bring the back leg parallel. Once the leg's parallel, you can bend the knee, pull into the waist, get this whole side long again. Left foot's not gonna swing back to the wall behind you. It's gonna be forward slightly. And then stretch the head leaning back against the wall, arm lifts up. Draw into the core. 5 breaths here. Lean into the wall, just don't drop into the wall. Let it nourish the courage you have of holding a pose for 5 breaths. Standing on one foot. Your head is parallel to that horizon, right? And then as you exhale, knees gonna bend. Foot's gonna come down, glide against the wall. Foot comes to the earth. Inhale, bring your block with you. Come all the way out. Pivot to the other side. Right foot turns in, left foot turns out. Find the length. So we're being pretty fierce, more attuned to the alignment, which is also fire, connected to the core, but feeling supported by the wall. This is nourishing courage. You could do this whole practice in the middle of the room, but here's the deal. It's actually harder against the wall. So while we get more access to it, that accountability piece is calling forward the alignment. Lift the heart, lift the chest, draw into the core. Open up. Your thighs move back, your ribs move forward, coming into triangle pose. Like I'm trying triangle right now. I just don't want to pay for my hip later. Okay, so as we're there, draw into the core. This is going to shorten. Part of that is protecting the heart. Believe it or not, that's all our ego is doing, right? It's trying to protect us. So the mind goes, yeah, we'll just deny your truth. Draw into the core, soften, and then we're not satisfied. Lean the head back, chest back. Hand can be back behind you, but we're going to take the arm by the side. 5 breaths here. The wall is very, very loving. And then we're going to shift. I'm going to shift the weight forward, lunge forward. I'm going to dive into the plants here. And as you lunge forward and shift it forward, oh yeah, I moved away from the wall. Okay, here we go. I have a plant to my waist, so I can't do exactly there we go. As you're there, draw in, shoulders drawn to the back. So this right foot isn't swinging way out, but it's also not touching the wall, okay? It's parallel. Draw in, find length. See, I'm paying for my choice of being in the plants. They're probably gonna make me sneeze. Deep breath in, and then deep breath out. With those 5 breaths, stay connected to you. And then exhale, you're gonna bend the knee. Step the foot all the way back, rise all the way up. Ooh yeah. Bring your feet back to the center, move away from the wall, and just heel toe the feet in. I know that's like silly, right? Heel toeing in, but it's actually really good for the hips. Okay, so here we are, long edge of the mat, facing the wall. We're gonna turn, so your feet might be off the wall. Off the mat, okay? We're gonna turn you're gonna get a nice sweet shot of my rear end. Your hands are gonna come back behind your head. Your elbows are gonna come to the wall. Knees are gonna bend. Shoulders draw into the back. Pull into the rib cage, then lift up. Open the heart. Deep breath in and a deep breath out. Then lift from behind the heart. Inhale, come up. Bring your hands to the wall. Slide them down, bend the knees. Walk your feet back. So it's downward dog at the wall. As your downward dog is at the wall, you want your feet under your hips. Most of us take our feet too far back. So bring your feet under your hips. Draw up into the core and then extend the hips back. 5 breaths here. We're getting that heat and that warmth to help our inner selves to nourish that courage, right? What does it mean to be courageous? It means to realize there's something worth fighting for. Now you're going to walk your hands all the way down to the floor. Not so easy. Okay? And then bring your knees to the earth. I don't want to do that one. Now we're going to turn. Hips on the ground. Legs stretch out in front of you. Arms go up overhead. Ideally, if you have the range of motion in your shoulders, the belly can draw back, you can lift up. Your head comes back to the wall, your hands come back to the wall. This is, believe it or not, really, really hard for a lot of people. So don't force. Don't pop your head forward to get your hands back. Feel how much your head is actually in the way. 5 breaths here. This is big. This is core work. The wall makes you more accountable and connected. Maybe even your fingers can feel that change of blood flow. Now, bring your hands down. Mark where your heels are. And yes, we're going upside down. Okay? Because this is the courage part. So your hands come where your heels are, but I'm going to help you out. We're going to do it slow and steady. Hands under your shoulders, draw into the core, soften the heart. And as you soften the heart, this is the yielding to the fire. Remember that wall. Remember how much it supported you. So you can trust in it and trust in your own choices. But we also want to check in with our internal temperature and what temperature we want to set. So that's all intention right here. You're in a really shallow dog, so toes tuck, hips lift out. This right here can feel claustrophobic for people. So I just want you to breathe here. If this is brand new to you, you can progress all month long. Otherwise, one foot comes into the wall and you just push into the wall until your left foot comes off the ground slightly. We're going to do it 5 times. So you just push, the left foot lifts and land. Meanwhile, your armpits are moving towards your fingertips and your heart is moving across the room. Right? So a total of 5. And then the foot lands. Right foot comes down. If you need a child's pose, have child's pose. Otherwise, left foot climbs up. Draw into the core. Arms are forward. Shoulders are integrated. 5 pulses. You may not even get as high as me. Sweep the belly back. What's the head doing? Look forward if you're scared. Oh yeah. All right. Both feet come down, knees come down. So far, so good? Okay. Now we're just gonna go up, both feet. So you can pulse again, 5 pulses. How many of you have done some of these things today and like, man, why doesn't she do that more often? At least that's what I'm thinking. But now you have this recording to come to and practice. So you can do the 5 pulses again, or you're gonna go up for 5 breaths. So bring your hands back to where they were. Pull into the core, but soften. Toes top, hips lift. One foot and then the other comes to the wall. You can trust in it. Don't do this if you're too afraid of falling. Just do the little pulses, 5 breaths here. And then one foot comes down, and then the other. Knees to the earth. Sit back, toes tucked or not. Maybe just even on a block. Let your hands come up and rest the hands. So while that is hard, it is like the way we build the courage to go upside down. You don't have to go upside down. Honestly, legs up the wall, more than enough. When we do invert, we take care of our systems. So I really am hoping to build into that renewal, that rebirth of respecting our bodies and our being. Initiating, though, from a place of compassion and care to help you feel more connection to being the leader in your life, to moving from the heart, to initiating from a greater place of strength. Not the warrior that's egoic driven and denying the desire of the soul, but the one who's there helping to embrace and follow through and be more conscious of the choices we make as we step forward. So we're gonna do it one more time. And I'll tell you right now, I have not been doing handstands since having babies. This is really hard for me. I've had so many injuries since having a baby. 2 babies. So many injuries, and I'm still working on healing, so we're gonna baby step it, okay? If it's too much, just come back here. Just start to get used to hands, where do they go? Belly lifted, heart soft, shallow dog. That in itself, or come up off your hands and do the dog L-shaped pose at the wall. If you can, switch feet, draw into the core, move, so you're moving through that core, push into the wall, and then rise, 5 breaths. And then feet come down. You can go into child's pose or standing forward bend, whichever one works for you. Relax the neck, relax the jaw. If you're in a child's pose, you're going to inhale up onto your hands and knees and join us in a standing forward bend. Bend the knees so your hips, while far enough forward so your hips come to the wall. Okay, so it's chair pose against the wall. Hips are pulling back. Make sure your yoga mat isn't sliding. Pull into the core. Pull the thighs back. Pull the waistline back. Draw the head back. See if you can sit deep. Pulling in, drawing in, really pulling the knees towards the hips, core. And what we're doing is actually a fierce way of re-plugging the femur bones into the hip socket. Quads on fire, core's on fire. Let the palms turn up so the wrists have a moment to relax. And 5 more breaths. And maybe you just slide all the way down the wall. Maybe you push yourself off the wall and come up. However you want to do it. Okay? However you want to do it. Here we are seated. Back to the ground. Let's do the left side first. Stretch the left leg out long. And then turn your hips. Right leg crosses over, okay? One leg. Hands around the eye of the knee. Lengthen the spine. Draw into the core. Now, we're not, well, actually, let's do it. I want you to pull the left hip all the way back into the wall. Okay? Both hips are grounded. You're at a diagonal. Hold on with your left hand. Draw into the belly so your head is pulling back in the direction of the wall. It feels so far away, doesn't it? How many of you feel like you have to pull so far back? Now draw in, elbows go wide, right arm stretches out. Keep anchoring the tail as well as the pubic bone, pulling into the core. Do you guys see how much your head pulls forward? Lean back. Told you it wasn't easy. Full breath in. Full breath out. Inhale, come all the way back through the center. We're just gonna switch. Right leg steps out. Shift your hips. Left leg comes in. See, that's that move. Did you all see my face? Ah! I moved too quick. I was feeling too confident. So as we're there, you're gonna draw in and pull back. As a matter of fact, I can't even cross the leg over. Okay. So tune in. I cannot cross my leg because of that greater trochanter, right? It's just too much of an external rotation. It's crazy, I know. So my foot's gonna be in front, draw in, and this is the power of knowing yourself, of knowing what's good for you and what's not. The only way you know is by participating, is by nourishing courage, is by going inward, of not just staying in the mind. In my opinion, intellectual bypassing, we don't talk about it, but it's real. It's the same category of spiritual bypassing. We need to be real. We need to be real with ourselves. What's the stories we're telling ourselves, and what's the story we're telling the world? Draw in, shoulders drawn to the back. So you're holding on to that knee. Both shoulders drawn, belly draws in. Right hips at the wall, right shoulders at the wall, head's leaning back. So as you twist, one side's easier than the other, you notice how much the chin pops forward and the chest pops forward. We're drawing in, we're leaning back, and then here we go. Left arm stretches out, 5 breaths. You could say we're still yielding to fire right now. We're supported. And then draw into the core. Inhale. Come all the way back. Stretch both legs out long. I have to be careful here. Once both legs stretch out long, we're gonna go upside down again. We're gonna do legs up the wall. Then we're gonna do a relaxation just with legs up the wall. And then we're gonna come seated and close with breathing and a meditation, okay? And if you're like, oh, I don't do the breathing and meditation part, and you're gonna shut me down, I love you, thank you. However, if you're gonna nourish the courageous spirit of you, I highly recommend you stay with me. This is the power. So legs at the wall again, lean back, lean over, and sweep up. Check in. Notice how by starting here, and working yourself now and returning here, there's a greater sense of appreciation for it. Right? We have not been super crazy in our practice today, but we have at the same time. You're going to stretch your legs out wide. As wide as they will go. Okay? Hopefully they just know that gravity's doing amazing things. They just rest. By the way, we usually think of fire as being masculine, but there's so much cosmic energy right now, it's actually hard for me to write about it because I'd have to write blog posts. But we're really initiating the transitional energy of the woman, of the feminine. And she's been fighting. She's been a warrior. She's been showing up for the beauty, for the change of swords, the different ways we can operate and work. And then that energy is going to shift where she gets to become from that morning star of guiding us forward to being more restorative and healing. And not falling into the demands of the masculine and the motivation and the drive. There's going to be an even greater slowing down. And a chance to cultivate more love and more resilience and more vitality. Big breath in. Big breath out. And then draw it into your core. Bend your knees and slowly, use your hands if you need to, bring your legs back together, knees to the chest. Feet on the wall. Water's about to spill. Now, feet on the wall, you're going to draw your shoulders into the back. Inhale, lift the hips. So, your neck is not on the floor, okay? Remember when we put our hands in the back of the head? Your head is moving down. If you don't want to do shoulder stand, then you're just going to stay legs up the wall. But your arms are drawn down. Inhale your hips up. Hands come to the back. As you hold on to the low back, your hands are supporting you. Throat's open. You should be able to talk too. Bring your left leg off the wall, not straight up to the sky, but at a diagonal. Hips are heavy into the hands. And then the right. Feel the breath and the evenness. We are not going vertical with the spine. Our legs are at a diagonal. But we are upside down. We are taking care of the mind, our nervous system, our brains, our heads. 5 breaths. And then bend the left knee, bring the foot to the wall, then the right. Free your hands, and we're going to go down vertebrae by vertebrae. Release the shoulders using your core. Your core is really pulling back all the way down. Once your tail lands, allow your legs to re-extend up the wall. This is a gentle way of working the inversion to feel more supported and connected. and then lean into that support. Just as you are, allow for a gracious breath in and a gracious breath out. Slowly let the knees just fall into your chest. Big, full breath in. Full breath out. You're going to roll over to one side. And slowly come up seated. There's no way it can be graceful when you're up against a wall. You're going to come into a seat that supports you with your hips up against the wall. Okay, your spine up against the wall. I have to do this. I cannot sit cross-legged. And as you're there, drawing into the core, finding the hands rest where they're most comfortable for you. Now we're going to move through Kapalabhati breath, where you have the emphasis on the exhale through the nose. So a lot of you, I know you from doing yoga in a hot setting, and so you're used to doing that hot 26 or Bikram, and they finish with the breath through the mouth. We are doing it through the nose. This is really good for sinuses and allergies. So each time you exhale, you're pumping the stomach and it goes through the nose. We're just going to do 3 rounds of, I really want to do 50, but we're just going to do 3 rounds of 30. I will hold the count for you. And so I'll just tell you cleansing breath in, cleansing breath out, okay? Deep breath in. Your head's not going to be popping, your shoulder, you got to stay up against the wall. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Inhale in halfway and begin. Big breath in. Big breath out. Breathe in halfway and begin. Inhale in. Exhale out. Last round. If it's not working for you, just breathe. Don't force anything ever. Inhale in halfway. Cleansing breath in. Cleansing breath out. And then just let the breath be. Allow your body to be. Drop your awareness into your heart center, the bottom half of the heart.
the vitality, the divine spark, the courageous ability to be exactly who you are, being nourished, being cared for. And rather than get caught up in the how long has it been since you've done this, instead celebrate the triumph for showing up right here, right now. And then allow your head to bow. Allow your hands to come in front of your eyes. Feel the warmth and the heat even as you rest and restore. The vitality, that inner spark coming to the surface, circulating through your beingness. And then slowly open the palms of the hands and let your eyes receive that vision of healing and health and vitality that you nourished your courageous heart. And I thank you so very much. If you showed up for this, tell me in the comments, YouTube or Facebook. If you enjoyed the practice at the wall, tell me. I have to move past it's just virtual yoga. And we've done it. We did a year of virtual yoga. And so how can we use this in a way to really become more sophisticated in our streamlining our sacred self-care? Because that's what it is. And feeling the connection, you all are my family. You have been, you've been my virtual family through all of this. So just communicate. What is your heart calling for? And yes, I know the yearning to be in person is still strong, but y'all, I will continue to take care of you, and I will continue to be a private caretaker in this setting. But in that sophistication, it's time for me to also honor the passions of my heart and find the ways to bring forward something I've been so hungry to do for so long. And usually we do things to prove to ourselves we can do things. And so I did this. I'm still going to be here. I will continue to show up. How could I not? But 19 years ago, my life had a pretty big moment, and there's an alignment happening right now to recall that stepping forward from the courage of my own heart and bringing that forward in a way. So driving around town to teach yoga is not a priority. So just realize that, because I am going to be driving my kids around very soon. And I'm not a big fan of driving around in the car. I don't care how many podcasts I listen to, because I don't work that way. So I thank you deep from within. And again, if this served you to be against the wall and do something differently, let me know. And be well, be good to yourself, be real, be true, be conscious of the choices you're making. Be mindful, but most of all, be exactly who you are, because that's what the world loves you to be. Namaste. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mwah.